Welcome everyone to our Feed Your Passion Thursday. I'm Lori from Lori's Country Cottage and wait to see what we have to show you today. The first thing we have today is a quilt made with a jelly roll, and just the fabrics for the border and the zinger are added, and the borders from around the patterns, around the print. It's a panel that's in there. If you can see, what we have done in ours is we have outlined the panel pieces with the dark green. We felt that the white was too bright for us and we preferred the dark green. This is a line called Country Charm by Holly Taylor, and the quilt is 69 by 87. So we have quilt kit with the pattern in, patterns, jelly rolls, which are 2.5-inch strips of all the fabrics. If there isn't 42 pieces in the line, they repeat the most popular. And we have yardage, a beautiful leafy print. And there again is the kit. The second thing that we've got that's brand new, this pattern is called Flower Delivery by Coach House Designs. And the fabric line is called Cultivate Kindness by Deb Strain. Pretty little country line with the ginghams in it, the brick, or the barn boards, I guess, and then a couple of pieces of floral that are almost reminiscent of 30s reproductions. And the cream of this crop, I think, is this lovely panel. The panel has 6 different trucks with all different sayings on them. Sorry, you can't see the top of it, but there's a top one up there that says Cultivate Kindness. That's a Deb Strain line from Moda Fabrics. These truck panels would make really nice placemats if you were to add borders on them, and probably something on either side. But really pretty. And we've got the kit that utilizes the panel as well as the fabric. And we've got fat quarter bundles, you can see. A real pretty springtime group. This quilt is called Autumn Colors, and it is the quilt that we made on our Fall Colors quilting cruise last year. Every couple of years we plan a quilting cruise with an instructor that she teaches during the days that we're at sea. So we are on a holiday, we do enjoy ourselves, but we also get some hard work done and get some quilting done, learn some new techniques, and make a quilt. So this is the one that we did to remind us of the fall colors we saw last year in our quilting cruise. Sometime we will cruise again. Just watch our website for any information should you be interested again in traveling and doing something like that. It's fun to travel with a bunch of quilters and have quilting as a common denominator in our interests. There is the quilt, or the pattern, pardon me, and the fabric that it uses. So we do have some yardage of that, as well the kits for the quilt. Now, do you see all those flying geese in that quilt? I'm going to show you a tool to help you make flying geese. So stay tuned. In 1 minute, I'll get to my station and I'll show you the technique. So here we are to make some flying geese. The wing clipper is my favorite tool for making flying geese. And it is a tool put out by Deb Tucker, Studio 180 Designs. Now we have classes here that you learn to use all of Deb's rulers. Deb Tucker's rulers are all designed for you to cut your pieces just a tiny bit larger than what you need, and then you trim them down. So when you're working with components for a block, your components are perfectly sized. Makes for your quilt to be much more accurate. So here's the instructions as they come from Deb, and they are very much like what I've got here on this little storyboard. So over here, you can see how many different sizes of flying geese this one tool will make. It will make all the whole and half sizes, which is probably 95%, maybe 98% of the sizes of blocks that you need or components you need for blocks. The other wing clipper 2 is for the 1/4 and 3/4 inch flying geese that are an odd size, that are seldom used but are used within blocks. So on the instructions is a chart, and that chart shows you what to cut for all the pieces. So when you have a pattern and it says you need a 2.5 by 4.5 inch finished or unfinished flying geese, you would choose those sizes on here, cut the pieces, and this is how you would do it. Now this tool, and this is the one out of the store, so it's a magic wand, but it has not had the paper taken off of it because it's a clear plastic. It has a line through it. I don't know if you can see that on the camera, but it has a line on it that shows the center. And you can see that center line when you lay it on your block. It is for marking your 1/4 inch seam line when you're going to do your sewing for this or for any half squares that you want to draw the line to sew. This tool has 2 benefits that are wonderful. It's flat. It sits nice and flat against your fabric. It doesn't wibble and wobble like some of the tools do. It's clear. It's a very fine line. You can see exactly where your point is on your square. And it makes a scant 1/4. So when you sew on the line that you marked from this tool, you are doing a scant 1/4, giving yourself ample fabric to go through the fold or in the fold of the seam. So in the instructions, it suggests that you cut 1 large square and 4 small squares. So these are the 4 small squares. You want to lay your 2 of your squares on top of your large square, and then you use your tool to mark on either side so that you can stitch. I like to put a pin in each of these to hold them. You want to stitch on each of those drawn lines and then cut it apart. That will yield you 2 of these units. If you take this unit, you want to press it out, and then you want to put another square on each unit that you have made. Again, you use your tool, put it right on the corner line, draw your line across or beside the tool, and sew on each of those lines. You want to then cut that apart. That will give you 2 more units. And when you press that, voila, you've got a flying geese. Now, when you start with one large square like this and 4 little ones, you make 4 flying geese at a time. 4. That's wonderful news because flying geese can be quite tedious. So, now the trick with her ruler is that, and I'll maybe just move it a titch, she's got a mark on here that is a little X. That goes right on your point when you are trimming to ensure that you have a perfect 1/4 inch seam here and don't cut off your point. Sure, any ruler with a 1/4 inch can fit on there, but when you're trimming, how hard or how easy is it to just set that at a little bit of an angle? I've got a 1/4 inch here, but if I trim this, I trim off a little bit too much at this edge and my whole block is cockeyed and it will not fit together in my block in the construction. So with this ruler, you place the X right on your point. There is a line here you can see that runs right along my triangle, so I know I'm straight. I want to trim the 2 sides. And then I turn my ruler around and my 4.5 by 2.5 inch lines line up with the outer cut edge. Again, I've got my triangle lines here. I see my point. I know I got my 1/4 inch, and now I can trim those 2 sides. Makes 4 flying geese at a time. It's the wing clipper from Studio 180 made by Deb Tucker. It's one of our favorite tools in the store here. So I hope you've enjoyed that. I hope that you are interested in making flying geese now, 4 at a time. And we've got those great kits. Maybe I'll just run by and show them to you again. So stay tuned. I'll run over there and we'll have one more last look. Okay, so we've got the Autumn Colors quilt and the kit. Can't see much of it, it's got a glare on it. And there is the fabric to match, so should you decide that you like the quilt and want to make it bigger, you have fabric there to do borders. And of course, Country Charm, pattern by Doug Lecko. And the fabric by Holly Taylor. Uses a jelly roll, and the jelly rolls are 42 strips cut at 2.5 inches, ready for you to piece. We do have the fabric here if you wanted to make your quilt bigger. So you're all set. So I hope I've inspired you. And thank you for watching. We'll see you on Tuesday with How Tuesday. Bye for now.